Welcome back to English with a Twist. Today we are going to have a conversation in English about our recent travels. I'm Sarah and this is my husband Israel.
Hi.
And if you haven't noticed, we're in different locations because I recently traveled to the US and we had some interesting days of travel, both together and separately. We were going to discuss it, and maybe this conversation might help you to pick up on English vocabulary as well as naturalness in speaking and conversing in the English language. So, Israel, why don't you tell me, how did your trip go?
My trip was actually very, very good. Of course, um, I don't like that much traveling in bus. Um, but I was happy that the trip was safe and that I could make it back home.
And was it a long bus trip or was it a short bus trip?
I don't know. I guess it depends on how people look at it because it was 3 hours and a half. Some people say, most people would not say that's sure, but there's because of the culture, there's some people that are just used to traveling in bus all day long for many reasons, for work or they have family in other places and they find that that can be kind of short. But to me, because I'm not used to traveling in bus, I would say that was kind of like a long trip for me, 3 hours and a half.
For me too. Did anything exciting happen when you were taking the bus?
I think something very nice happened. I was talking with you on the video right before our bus left from the bus station. And apparently somebody overheard me, and that person happened to be traveling on the same bus, and he was sitting right behind me. And he said, "Hey, where are you going?" And so he just started to saying friendly things, and so I didn't mind talking with him a little. And then something interesting happened.
What happened? That was interesting.
Yes, thank you for asking. I was surprised when he said, because our native languages, his native and my native language is Spanish. So he asked me in Spanish. He just mentioned, "Hey, I noticed you were talking in English with somebody," and so I told him that was with you. I said, "Yeah, that was with my wife. She's from the United States, and I was just letting her know that I was about to take the bus ride." And he said, "You know what? I always wanted to learn English." And so we started practicing a little, and he was very grateful. We exchanged contact information, and I also gave him some tips. And I told him, uh, some people believe that when once you are a certain age, it's impossible basically to learn. There is a saying in where I am where I come from that all people can learn. I guess there's a saying in English too that says something like all dogs can't learn new tricks, something like that.
Right. Yeah,
But
it is.
that certainly that does not apply to learning language. It might be harder. I'm not saying that it doesn't have any increased difficulty, but the fact is that the evidence shows the very opposite. So I shared that with him. There's dozens, if not hundreds or thousands of people around the world, who knows? But many people that you and I know personally, that they move to a different country, they learn different languages and get familiar with the local people that are retired. So he was very encouraged, and it was a very nice experience for me.
Nice. That's awesome. We we took many modes of transportation when we were traveling to go to the airport, such as Uber, Didi in the cars. We had suitcases and we took the bus. Thankfully, this time I did not get car sick, which is the overwhelming feeling of nausea, like you can vomit, headache. Um, I took medicine before and I didn't consume anything except for black coffee. That was it. And thankfully, no sickness. And then we also took uh, Uber to the Airbnb. So we stayed at Airbnb. I really loved this Airbnb that we stayed at. Um, it was probably one of the best ones that I think we've stayed at. The host was so hospitable and friendly, and the apartment had everything we needed. The only one thing that I did not love was the noise of the traffic. There's many cars in this town near the airport. Too many people, overpopulated, and so there was horns all day long. And that was the only thing that I didn't love, but everything else was great. And then I had to take airplane. So I had to take the airplane. We went to the airport and I had luggage, also known as suitcases. I had checked bags as well as carry-on and personal item. And it was very nice when I got past security, the airport security. I was given a little sample of delicious coffee and then a little chocolate, which was it was a very nice thing after having to wait in a long line of people to go through airport security. That flight flew into the United States. It was fine. Like nothing went wrong with that flight at all. It was perfect. There was Wi-Fi available on the flight. I watched the new Barbie movie.
Wow.
I've been wanting to watch that ever since I heard about it, and I was able to see it on the plane, and it was interesting. That was a very interesting movie.
Did you like it?
I kind of liked it, but there was just, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It was just, there were many morals to the story. It went much deeper than I thought that it would. And it was very interesting. The take on different issues that it represented. It was okay. It was an okay movie. I was glad that I got to watch it. And then once I landed in the US, I was not done. I was not at my final destination. I still had to take a second airplane to my final destination, the state that I was going to.
And how did that trip go?
That one, not as good, but not as good.
You want to tell me what happened?
The airport is just too big. It's very exhausting. And they don't give you much time to get to where you need to be. I found the gate. I got a little lost in the beginning. I got a little lost. And then by the time that I realized I was going the wrong way, I was so tired. But I still had to go. I still had to push myself to walk over there. and I was waiting, and uh, a woman who was walking, she was walking behind me. She fell. I was actually sitting at my gate, and she fell, and I jumped up to go help her get up. But already there were two men that ran over to help her and another woman, but the men helped her back up. And thankfully, she wasn't uh, injured, but I think she was tired. I think that's probably why she fell. There's too much walking. The airports are too big, in my opinion. But, and then I was waiting, and I was waiting, and then I was waiting some more. And
Wow.
then I'm noticing we're not getting on the airplane when we should have. So I sent a message to my mother. We're delayed. I'll be in this time. Second time. Okay, we're delayed even more. I'll be in later. We get onto the airplane and the air conditioner isn't working. We're waiting, and then eventually the pilot comes out, gets on the speaker, and he tells us he is going to have us all get off the plane. The software that controls the air conditioner is not working. They had already worked on so many other things, like the tires, replacing tires, and this plane had a lot of problems. I
Wow.
appreciate that he made a good judgment call like he did. I feel I felt safe, and there were many people complaining they didn't like it, but I would rather be safe and have to wait more. So he did not make any promises, but he said he would try to find another plane. And he made no promise, but he found one. And it was okay because it gave me time to eat. And I had not eaten the whole day, just like apple and a snack, and not really a meal. So I had time to eat, and I got to meet a really nice woman who was cleaning the tables, and she was listening to the music overhead. She liked the song. She was singing it and dancing, and I was really drawn to her. She seemed very happy and joyful,
Nice.
and so she kind of perked me up. She infused me with energy.
All right.
And so we were instructed after that to go to the other side of the airport to catch our plane. We all go over there. We think we're going to get right on the plane. No, we had to wait another 45 minutes. But in this 45 minutes, we were all given vouchers, $100 each, to use within 1 year on the airline for making us 3 hours late to our final destination. Um, After that, everything was fine. I had a really nice woman sitting next to me, a fascinating person. She was in her 70s, but she was still farming and raising animals
Wow.
and working every day, and she just seemed so youthful and energetic, and she was living life and loving it. So I got to
Wow.
meet some interesting people, but I didn't get in too late, which was good. I had to wait for my luggage, but thankfully I didn't arrive too late at night, which was good for the people picking me up, my airport pickup people. So overall, it was good. It is exhausting. I always have to recover a few days after traveling, either coming here to the US or going back where we live. So travel is
I know.
exhausting, but it gets you to where you need to go. But that's all that I have to say about it. But
Thank you for sharing more about that experience with me and also for sharing it with the people that wanted to hear our conversation about traveling.
yeah, I hope that you're able to pick up on some English vocabulary as well as naturalness in conversation. That can be one of the hardest parts of learning a new language, is being natural in a way that people understand you. So hopefully you can pick up some pointers out of this conversation, and we will love to bring you more conversational style videos. Let us know what types of conversations you're running into on a regular basis so that we can hopefully make some videos about that and give you value for the time that you're watching on here. We appreciate you. Please come back and let us know what you would like to see from us. See you next
Bye.
time.
See you next time.